Hey everyone, how are we all doing? Okay, so before I get started, everything I say in this video is my opinion, mine alone. Please feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. With that being said, let's dive into this video. Okay, so before I get into the Trisha Paytas stuff, which I know is a pain in the backside, but I do need to address this comments that I've been getting for the last 2 days on a video I made 3 weeks ago. So, the video in question is by Critical K and what my problem is with Dad Challenge podcast. I got a lot of problems with Dad Challenge podcast. It's not just one. The guy is a slime ball. He's a sexist pig. He likes to berate women. And his daughter has a YouTube channel. Interesting. But one thing I like to do when I make my videos is make sure that I get all the facts right. Now, the video that I was going to be putting up tonight of Trisha Paytas is going to come tomorrow, because I got recommended a video today in my comments, and I thought this one was more important to be seen than the one I was already working on. So it's a little bit of a detour. But if people are going to protect and defend Trisha, they need to see all the facts and the damage that she has done over the years on YouTube, and maybe even before YouTube. I did receive her books today. I gotta be honest, they look nothing like her. The pictures on them are so photoshopped. Here they are. One. Oops. The Stripper Diaries. And then we have The History of My Insanity. 12 chapters, 80 pages, and 75 pages on the other one. Interesting. I do wonder though, the Stripper Diaries, did that come from The Secret Diaries of a Call Girl? Just thought. So, before we do get into Trisha Paytas, let's deal with this comment. I am going to share the screen and go straight across to the comment. I don't need to share sound. Just go there. Press that one. Okay, so the comment started 2 days ago. He has had his kids on, but he is against continuous monetizations of mommy vloggers. Everyone against this can still post pictures of their family and kids. It's not being a hypocrite. Okay, if that's what you believe. Well, this didn't end there. I asked, so you're okay with him telling mommy vloggers to take their kids off Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and then he'll take his videos down? But then when he was doing an interview with Jordan, was it last week before, he wasn't dragging her for her kids being on YouTube. He was dragging her because she was making standards impossible for the everyday woman, or something along those lines. But Josh has real issues with people who post their children on YouTube. He's made that clear. I don't agree with people putting their kids on YouTube, but I don't agree with his methods of trying to stop them. So, as you can see, the comments went on a bit. I was getting a little bit knocked tonight when she's saying that maybe reading comprehension isn't your forte. And said that she said that she wanted James off YouTube. No, Josh wants James off YouTube. Josh would be quite happy if Micah and her children were living in a cardboard box. But there again, he'd probably want to take the box away too. So, I also said that Josh's daughter has a YouTube channel, which she does. And I can show you that. So let me just put the rest of these comments up here for you to read. I do not have the energy to go through them, I'm sorry. You can pause and read them. The last one was 6 minutes ago, I believe. She's telling me she doesn't have all the time in the world to watch every Josh video. Well, neither do I. I'm on here when I'm unable to sleep at night because of chronic pain. This is a hobby for me. A distraction, so to speak. She hasn't got all the time in the world to watch every video of Josh's, but she's got all the time in the world to sit here attacking me for my opinion of Josh. And how I do not like him berating women, sexualizing women, and just dragging women through the mud. But that is Josh all over. So, let me show you his daughter's channel. Go here, go to his community page, take this down, almost there. And here we go. Everly's new song is up. So here is his daughter's channel. But kids shouldn't be on YouTube, should they? At all. No children should be on YouTube, according to Josh. But he did change his story, didn't he? So there you have it. That is his daughter's channel. I'm not even going to go into the video that he did last week where he totally changed his opinion on why he doesn't want these mummy vloggers on YouTube, because that's just another story which will take up more than a few minutes. So, as I said, that's my problem, or one of my problems. Kind of a hypocrite, really, eh? So, let's get back on track. Let us get back to the Trisha Paytas and why people shouldn't be defending her. One moment, I really need to drink now. Okay, so I do apologise about that. I just wanted to deal with that commenter. Get it over and done with. Back to Trisha Paytas and why we should not be defending her. I'm going to share the screen again. And we are going to start on this video that I was shown today. Which, in my opinion, it's not even one reason that you shouldn't be defending Trisha Paytas. There's about half a dozen here, all equally as problematic as each other. Let's do this. And
Today we're going to be talking about Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas is an online media personality who's been featured in shows like My Strange Addiction and music videos like Eminem's We Made You. She's been active on YouTube since 2007 and has made friends among the likes of Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, David Dobrik, and other YouTubers with checkered reputations to say the least. She's recently come under fire after her abrupt departure from the popular H3H3 produced Frenemies podcast. After her departure, she made hours upon hours upon hours of content demonizing Ethan Klein, co-founder of H3H3.
So true. And while making the content, she was having a go at Ethan, saying, "You're having a go at me," when he barely said anything. When it comes to how many he made to how many Trisha made, there was like 1 to maybe 20. But Trisha was a victim, eh? Always the victim. Always.
Productions, who also happens to be her future brother-in-law. She had previously left under less than appropriate terms twice before after hurling vulgarities on air at Ethan's wife, her future sister-in-law, Ela Klein, which is not uncommon for her. However, before we get into her abusive behavior throughout her YouTube...
Yeah, that was vile. The way Trisha went after Ethan's wife, I wouldn't have had them back. I would have said, "No, do not come near my home again. I do not want to be in the same room as you again." If that was my partner they were speaking about. But Ethan and his wife are better people than I am. Simple, that simple.
Career. I want to preface this video with a disclaimer. Many, including myself, have ignorantly defended Trisha's poor behavior without knowing the full scope of her actions because she claims to have borderline personality disorder. Her borderline personality disorder was self-diagnosed, and she has previously claimed to have several different mental illnesses which were abundantly self-diagnosed. We will also expand on those events as well.
Yeah, when Trisha starts talking about mental health issues that she does self-diagnose, they always talk about them like she's reading it out of a textbook. And that's the only way to explain it. She's literally reading out of a medical journal on the symptoms and causes and treatments of said mental health problem she has that day.
Borderline personality, though, is characterized through impulsivity, poor self-image, emotional instability, and impaired social relationships, particularly romantic relationships. They need a lot of love and struggle with a sense of identity, but they are not inherently abusive. BPD does not mean you are an abusive person, nor does any mental illness excuse abuse. Some famous alleged cases of BPD include Marilyn Monroe, who struggled with substance abuse and endured physical and/or emotional abuse at the hands of her husbands, Joe DiMaggio.
She was such a beautiful woman. So sad what she went through. So sad. Heartbreaking even. And died so young.
And Arthur Miller. She used her star power to help smaller actresses, particularly black entertainers, during the 1950s. Princess Diana, who struggled with self-image and an eating disorder for years, while the royal family abused her to hide Prince Charles' affair with Camilla, used her political power to help during the AIDS crisis against the royal family's wishes. And Jim Carrey, who's very open about his mental health issues, and also...
I gotta be honest, I'm not that cracked on Jim Carrey, but Diana and Marilyn Monroe, two amazing women. And Jim Carrey's amazing in his own right. Just because I don't like him, it doesn't mean other people don't. We all have our own rights to our own opinions. Mine is, I'm not that cracked on him. I don't really find him funny. But that's just my own personal opinion.
Endured abusive relationships, one culminating in a very public tragedy, used his star power to make children laugh and influence a generation. None of these people were or are abusive. In fact, they were more vulnerable to being abused because of their borderline personality disorder. And the stigma that borderline personality disorder entails abuse is one many sufferers wish to clarify isn't true. With that disclaimer out of the way, anyone trying to excuse Trisha Paytas' actions after this video are ultimately siding with a predator.
There were so many facts in that short amount of video that it was unreal. When you're dealing with mental health, I personally have had my own battles with mental health. I'm not going to bring them to YouTube. They're not a discussion I want to have. But I totally understand what she was just saying. So much. And there's so many people out there who have undiagnosed mental health issues. And it's so clear they have mental health issues that they just need to get help for. But then, that is another story. We are right now covering Trisha Paytas.
It's been revealed that Trisha Paytas left bruises on her current fiancé, Moses' arm, after breaking into his phone, scrolling through his messages, and finding romantic sexual exchanges between him and other women while he and Trisha Paytas were friends with benefits. Even if Moses and Trisha had been dating exclusively at this point, there's no excuse for anyone to leave bruises on another person's body, especially in this context. Furthermore, Trisha also expressed to only wanting to have sex with Moses to break his heart and annoy Ethan Klein, her future Frenemies co-host. So why get upset over someone you don't have genuine feelings for messaging other people? Moses revealed to a
Wow, that is insane. Absolutely insane.
Catfish account that he didn't have feelings for Trisha, and he found her threatening, but matters turned dire when Trisha allegedly threatened to kill herself if Moses left her. She also allegedly threw his keys into the distance, so he was unable to physically leave her for 12 hours, and Moses himself has expressed that Trisha has ruined his life.
Put a finger down if they've ruined your life.
He currently defends Trisha and minimizes her feud with Ethan Klein as a battling between entertainers. However,
what can you even say about that? Put a finger down if they ruined your life. And Moses puts a finger down. Is Moses with Trisha because he wants to be or because he has to be? Or I should say he feels he should be.
this isn't new behavior for Trisha Paytas. It's also been revealed that Jason Nash currently suffers from PTSD after his relationship with Trisha Paytas, leaving him unable to develop new relationships. The alleged abuse includes chasing Jason Nash with a knife, crashing her car into his home where he shares custody of his children, and her running around naked in a hotel hallway while Jason barricaded inside another hotel room, fearing she might kill him that night.
I thought she was gonna kill me in my sleep.
Oh my god, Jason literally started packing his stuff. He's like, Trisha, I have kids, I gotta look out for myself, I have to go get a different room. And I'm like, I was like,
That's because she was...
The fact that she talks about it and laughing about it is a problem on its own. Like, seriously. How can you sit there laughing at chasing your partner around a hotel with a knife? Wow.
running around the hotel, totally naked, screaming and crying.
You thought she was gonna kill you?
Yeah, I thought like she was gonna...
I'm going to be totally honest. After what I've seen in yesterday's videos and the John Benet Ramsey video, I really dislike Trisha at this point. There is no level that I could actually be genuinely kind towards her after that. And then you go to the Anna Nicole Smith video, which is equally as disturbing. And now this. And now this. How does anybody defend this woman?
Gonna cut me up in my sleeve. And then we were right on the water, so she could just throw my body right in there.
And you guys didn't vlog it?
No, it was so serious that I didn't.
Jason also defended Trisha and consistently excused her behavior because that's how victims operate during a relationship. Despite this, I don't think a mob of strangers should place pressure on Moses to leave Trisha. That's a family matter for his close friends and family to handle. In both cases, though, when the men decided to break up with Trisha, she tried sending a hate mob for both of them, assassinating their characters in the public and alleging pedophilia accusations against them.
I do want to add that this whole event came after her and her boyfriend got into a fight, and she already made a video about him, accusing him of flirting with underage girls, which she's since retracted.
It's totally different. First of all, it's totally different.
Jesus Christ. She is literally dangerous. I honestly believe Trisha needs to be single. She needs to go into therapy. Intense therapy. And do something to sort this out, because this is really bad. How many little lives have Trisha destroyed by making up rumours about them like this? Accusing her exes of being that. The word that we really hate. Everybody really hates. Nobody wants that around anybody, any of the children. And these people have got their own children too. Like, they could be cut off from their own children because of Trisha. Why do people defend her?
Well, I know you guys had a nasty breakup. You drove your car into his house and stuff like that. So I just didn't want to be involved. And I saw you, and I left because I didn't want to have an interaction.
Now, if these accusations are true, both men deserve to face repercussions. However, it's curious to know that she only levels these accusations after a breakup and dismisses them when they get back together. Hindsight is always 20/20. But if you realize you've been with a pedophile, who would get back together with them? Furthermore, it's ironic to call someone else a predator when there's abundant evidence indicating that the real predator is actually Trisha Paytas.
Hook.
Driving a car into somebody's house whilst naked, and then continues to chase them in their car. It is so hard not to curse and not to scream and shout.
It doesn't look down upon rape.
Trisha Paytas made a video recounting how Ethan Klein mentioned a scene from her OnlyFans to her mother and sister at Disneyland. She alludes to how Ethan is her manager, implying his behavior is sexually harassing, despite demanding 50% of earnings from the Frenemies podcast as an equal co-host and not as his employee. Although this is incredibly awkward for any typical family gathering, Trisha Paytas featured her biological sister, who also has an OnlyFans, and biological mother on her OnlyFans account. They were all wearing bikinis together, wrestling in a sexual context.
I've heard there's a video of you on OnlyFans of you wrestling your sister topless with your mom in the referee.
First of all, we're not wrestling topless. We're in swimsuits. We're in like
red swimsuits.
Why is it on OnlyFans though? That seems kind of.
Yeah, because I think it's more like, well, for money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
so are you comfortable with people beating off to you and your whole family? That seems odd.
Yeah, why? I feel like that's a natural thing.
But I find it funny.
Or 3 incest dreams are actually very normal, and you're not a weirdo and a freak for having them. You can't control what your dreams are. It just means you want to be closer to that person.
What the absolute... No. No. Just no. Plain and simply just no.
Person. So if you have a dream like having sex with your dad or mom or sister, you want to be closer to that person and have a closer relationship with them, which actually kind of is true with mine anyways. It's totally gross when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my god, I need a shower, but it's kind of normal, so don't feel like...
No, I need more than a shower. I need a wire brush and bleach. Breathe.
Like a freak.
Furthermore, her public persona is highly cringe sexual, with her having made videos like 100 layers of cum on my face, so I don't blame Ethan for assuming they knew about the scene in question and believing they'd laugh at a lighthearted joke. The irony, though, is that Trisha Paytas has maliciously sexually harassed Ethan Klein since the beginning of their acquaintance. Since the beginning, Trisha Paytas has heavily flirted with Ethan Klein in front of his wife, Ela Klein.
I think you're...
a connection.
No,
There's
no
chemistry.
there's no chemistry, there's no connection. There's not.
There is just nothing I can say about this. The fact she thinks that their child is trolling, them saying they have a child is trolling, she sent intimate pictures of herself to Ethan. She asked Ethan to shower with her several times by the looks of it. She just isn't wired right. What I've looked into the book, I was a bit shocked by anyway. I haven't even sat down to read it properly yet, so...
I promise. I did notice that in your videos when you talk about me, she's winking at me and moving her shoulders in a way that... Do you think that's appropriate in front of my wife? What are you doing?
I don't think
it's appropriate.
I'm not doing it. Can you see your penis over your belly in the shower? How many people have you had sex with in your life? I just had such a vivid dream of you like getting banged by 2 guys, and I was like, oh my god, this is so awkward.
It's fine.
Okay, let's talk about...
Fans? Our collab? Oh my god, I don't know what to ask. Do you want to have sex with me?
Made undermining comments about their marriage, stating Trisha would treat Ethan better than Ela, tweeting how she wants to have sex with Ethan Klein, sending unsolicited photos of her vagina to Ethan Klein, an unwilling participant and married man, insisting they do a sex scene on her OnlyFans.
Do you understand, Moses, that the girl you're apparently dating has sent me, personally me, tweeted at me pictures of her vagina?
Right.
Do you understand?
That was my husband. Healer is far too kind. Far too kind. But it's a good thing she trusts her husband. And that he wouldn't. I hope. I don't think he would anyway, considering what is said by him.
Understand what you're doing.
I think that's a problem.
Do you even understand? She, the girl that you're apparently dating, which you think is funny, wanted to have a throuple with your sister and your brother-in-law.
True.
Why don't you go cheat on Jason more?
With who? Who was cheating on him?
What were you doing in Colorado?
Seeing my family.
Seeing your family? What kind of backwards twist life you have? You were having sex with your brother.
No, I wish.
You wish?
I do. I love incest.
That's one of my favorite role plays is brother sister. Incest, daddy daughter, mommy son.
Brother and sister.
Seriously. Why? Why would you even put it out there? Even if you did have these twisted, messed up thoughts. Why?
brother
Really?
and sister. It's my favorite.
How do you play
Just
it?
like, ooh, mom's gonna hear us, be quiet.
Pressuring him into confessing sexual feelings for her for months that don't exist, and even pleasuring herself while working on the Frenemies podcast, the clips of Ethan Klein and his wife on their main H3H3 podcast. Let me make myself clear. She made a video pleasuring herself.
Trisha, for God's sake, man. Just when you think it can't get no worse. And there it is, it gets worse. Every time. Just when you get to the point you think there is nothing worse that she can do, she does it. And then she cries. And then she complains. And blames everybody but herself. Seriously.
To Ethan and Hila talking on their H3H3 podcast. Ethan has time and time again dismissed this harassment, especially after Trisha, most likely considering the previous physical abuse and her pressuring Jason Nash into marriage, pressured Moses into an engagement.
There's one that Elvis married you. And how iconic would that be?
I don't know. I think that's a big decision.
Why?
Because, like, I don't know.
It's a good vlog.
Ethan Klein wanted to keep the peace even though he was her target for sexual harassment. It's also curious how every time Trisha stormed off the podcast, unprofessionally I might add, it was always because Hila Klein, Ethan's wife, came up. Trisha Paytas, upon having her sexual advances to Ethan rebuffed, launched an onslaught against Ethan's family life.
Your life is sad and pathetic, and mine is happy, thriving. So good
Mine
luck.
is not
Have
sad.
fun on your beach weekend, eating room service, trying to get pregnant. Have fun with that.
That doesn't sound sad and pathetic. That sounds like a good family life. Like I have good, fulfilling, and good deep roots with a wife that I've been married to for a long time. I've got a family that we're trying to build. And I've got...
Another time when Ethan politely asked his wife not be mentioned.
Trisha is so jealous. And I don't think it's just of Ethan either. It's anybody who's happy. I honestly think she's jealous of anybody that is happy. Anybody that is in a loving, successful relationship. Married or not. And she literally can't stand the fact that Ethan and Hila have an amazing marriage. That they love each other dearly. And the fact they can have children. That is definitely a trigger point.
In the podcast, per his wife's request, to also keep the peace in the family, Trisha called his wife on air the C word and remarked upon how Ethan treats his wife like a princess, but not her.
I just hate people who think they're just too fucking good for shit.
It's not she's
You
too
have a
good.
she has a fucking podcast. When you have a podcast, you're talked about. Your life's talked about. You guys talked about Moses and
Dude,
me. Well before we did this podcast, you guys talked about us. Never once asked me anything.
No, it's because you always make the same comment about
Asked
her.
me one thing this summer, or when Moses started dating. You never, but you guys talked about me.
I don't even know what you're on about.
Just all this
She
shit.
just
That
doesn't
she's
want
too
you
good.
all-
She's
she's
too
not
good.
too
Don't
good.
fucking mention my name. Meanwhile, you guys can talk about whoever you want. You guys talked about me all spring without
You can talk about whatever you want to.
And finally, the last fight was due to Ethan's pregnancy announcement on the Frenemies podcast. Trisha had a severe issue with his mentioning the announcement, stating he had already mentioned it in his other podcast, so why mention it again?
It was like pregnancy announcement, which is I'm happy to talk about the pregnancy.
We
but
talked a lot about the pregnancy here.
But it wasn't the pregnancy announcement. H3 Live was. It's your guys' thing, which I'm happy to talk about. I'm happy for you guys. But to say like, oh, we don't recycle things, it's like, you know, you do, and it's fine. But I don't make it the same title because it's not an announcement. We're talking about your
I wouldn't say
pregnancy.
recycling. It's a different conversation.
The original one was
Yeah.
Trisha's gonna like something. It doesn't have to be about me, but I'm just saying like the fact that it's a pregnancy announcement again when it's not a pregnancy announcement because I'm not pregnant. You know what I mean? We're talking about your
No, it's
guys'
not.
pregnancy. It wasn't an announcement. You announced it on H3 Live.
Despite this child being her future niece or nephew,
To be fair, it could have come across like Trisha was pregnant. Like Trisha put out there like 5 years ago that she can't have children. And she's blamed other people for putting that out there when it was her who done it. But I don't get that. I get that it could have come across like they were announcing that Trisha was pregnant. But again, that's Trisha showing her green-eyed monster.
She again stormed off after undermining Ethan's attempts to keep the peace, yet again, and made hours upon hours of content, accusing Ethan of everything leveled at her. Furthermore, both Moses and Jason have repeatedly stated that Trisha forces them to have sex with her, despite their unwillingness.
Put a finger down if they ever forced you sexually.
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't care.
They all wear little race car outfits. What am I supposed to do? Not look at their hogs?
When Moses is doing that put a finger down thing, it is so upsetting. When you realise just how bad things are. And again, is he with her because he wants to or because he has to? My personal opinion goes with he has to, and he's afraid to leave her. That's just my opinion.
Trisha, you need to go get some serious help.
Maybe if you didn't and we had sex this morning, I would have been fine.
Maybe it's none of your business.
Like we've met a few times in real life, and I mean the first time we met, you flashed me to get there.
Also, the flashing was consensual. Don't make it seem like I just exposed myself to you guys.
No, Trisha, I would not. I would
Okay.
never.
And you should stop getting naked in my house.
She also tried publicly humiliating both of them by insulting their sexual performances with malice on her own failed podcast prior to Frenemies.
He is a very socially awkward person. He might have something like Asperger's or something like that. So like it's very cringe, but holy shit.
Stop it! If a guy talks to you like this, run for the fucking hills. He hasn't been laid in fucking 20 years. Why do I always get the guys that are so fucking, they're so desperate and insecure?
This is ironic considering how she believes she was the renaissance to the H3H3 podcast, when in reality, she needed it more than they needed her.
Good grief, Trisha, why do you do this to people? What do you get out of doing this, Trisha? Like, there's no way you can be happy. Any chance at all. Because you would not allow yourself to be happy. This is wild.
I'm a fan of Louis C.K.
So I'm worse than him.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have a problem with what he did to women?
What did he do? I don't
He
know.
like jerked off in front of women and stood in front of the door so they couldn't escape.
And they weren't about it?
Trisha Paytas has used her sex work as a means to emotionally hurt her partners when they offended her.
And she pulls out her phone and shows me sucking some guy's cock.
Trisha?
Yeah, a picture of it.
Jason?
What?
Why'd you do that?
I thought it was funny that I still have that.
I was like, oh, look, there's a cock in there. I thought it was funny.
You left a party the other day because a girl sat on his lap. And you show him a picture of you sucking another dude's dick?
Talk about is having sex with people, including my dad, which is really weird.
I didn't say that.
Guys, in the comments, make sure you tell Trisha to stop talking about sexualizing my 70-year-old father.
Why? I'm not my friend.
Trisha,
Look how big his trunk is. That's not just a friend. And she wants to be part of the Vlog Squad? Go fuck yourself.
I thought you were exclusive with Jason.
I am. It's literally my friend for so long. How are you?
Ooh.
Take that, David. I don't care if she fucks around.
How do you feel about that?
She's got pretty good taste. I mean, I don't know.
She's your girlfriend. You're supposed to say you're not.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I pulled up with some girl just now, you would have flipped the fuck out. Who was that?
He said you were singing. He was like, whenever Jason's in a good mood, he's singing. I'm like, oh, you were in a good mood the night after our fight?
Wow. So Trisha gets to do anything she wants to. And her partners can't even look at another woman sideways. Damn. How do people manage to defend this woman? How?
I'm sure you can find a lot of things you can say about anything that I put out there and twist it in a way that, starts to fight.
This is why you are such a dangerous person, especially to be close with. Because you'll take something that I've told you, you'll take something that somebody told you in confidence, and you'll use it, you'll weaponize it against them.
That's not. Ethan has also commented how odd it is that his brother-in-law's fiance sent him vagina photos. But to further compound on this, it's equally, if not even more odd, for her to have pleasured herself to her fiancé's little sister and husband, out of spite for the several clashes they've had throughout the show. Furthermore, Moses admitted to Trisha not allowing him to speak to other women, not to like any other women's posts, and Jason followed.
That is disturbing. I'm sorry, but that is so disturbing. It is wrong on so many levels that it just feels like it can't be real. Wow.
The same rules.
Down if they wouldn't let you hang out with the opposite sex. Put a finger down if they wouldn't let you like certain people's photos. Put a finger down if they got mad if you didn't respond in 5 minutes. Put a finger down if they ever got physical or threw something at you. Put a finger down if you got to keep your location services on. Put a finger down if they threatened to kill themselves if you tried to break up with them.
You were declared 5150 that night, correct?
Because I overdosed. You get 5150 if you attempted suicide.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm crazy as I try to kill myself.
So then when you started making...
No, Trisha, you can guess 5150 if you're crazy too. And if you're going to drive a car naked into the side of someone's house, then sweetheart, you're a fucking loopy loon.
Videos and stuff about Jason, I only heard Jason's side of the story where he tried to avoid any contact with you.
Put a finger down if they've called you names. Put a finger down if they called you overly sensitive, but really they were just being mean. And lastly,
when Trisha found Jason's daughter's shirt in his house, Trisha accused Jason of having an affair.
Wow, in the put a finger down thing, Trisha managed to put one finger down. But Moses has almost got no fingers left.
And lashed out against him.
I think you have to be a lot less insecure about whether or not Jason is hooking up with other people. Like, Jason, what did she just do today?
She found my daughter's shirt and was like, who was here last night?
So it looks like a skinny girl, and that would not fit me.
Both men are highly uncomfortable around the idea of other women, and when others brought it up in jest, both men became highly unsettled.
Out of all the Kardashians, I'd probably pick her.
You pick Chloe?
To be friends with, not to be romantic with.
Who would you be romantic with of the Kardashians?
Kim.
You were supposed to say nobody.
Really?
Compared to you.
Kim Kardashian's very pretty.
You're not allowed to talk about women.
Oh, okay.
It's also of note, as any person who suffered from abuse, the little details. Trisha looks down on these men violently and has expressed pride in controlling them just through her stare alone. This was particularly evident when Moses denied breaking up with Trisha over her physical abuse, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Said he broke up with you because you started, like, punching him.
He's shaking his head no.
Oh, okay. You said I could say everything.
I did not punch him. You said that's why you broke up with me because I...
Wow. And considering the bruises that she gave him, that was quite a punch. Considering he looks pretty strong.
Punched you? I went like this.
Okay.
This was also repeatedly evident in her treatment of Jason Nash. Additionally, everyone is entitled to privacy. Trisha repeatedly breaking into their phones, revealing their messages to the public, broadcasting their issues to the public, and inciting a hate...
Come on, look at those bruises. Like, ouch. That must have really hurt. Like, Trisha, no, that's wrong.
Entitled to privacy. Trisha repeatedly breaking into their phones, revealing their messages to the public, broadcasting their issues to the public, and inciting a hate mob against them whenever they don't adapt to her commands is textbook emotional and psychological abuse. She also exposed private details about Ethan's previous substance addiction during his more depressed years because he called her crazy in jest.
And you're just not open about it.
I don't think that is a defining characteristic of who I am.
I think that is a big thing. That makes sense. Why? Because you're on medication now and there's no shame or judgment in it. But like, hey, if you're going to shame me for being off meds, you should say, hey, I'm on meds.
I'm not shaming you for being off meds.
That's what it sounds like.
I
You just
think
called me
you're
crazy,
But here's
which
what you
means
do.
I'm off
You know what you just did?
medication.
You're trying to see. This is why you are such a dangerous person.
From what fans have seen, Moses treats Trisha like a princess, encouraging her to eat as she pleases and building her custom gifts, including a fridge. Jason, on the other hand, made several comments critiquing Trisha's weight and eating habits. However, this physical objectification wasn't one-sided. Trisha constantly insulted Jason for his physical appearance in several ways.
Look how skinny you look, though. Look at your arm. Your arm looks so skinny.
That's because I've been trying to work out.
No, Jason is showing pictures of him skinny, and I'm like, he looks a lot older. I think he looks way older when you're skinnier. It's not like you're fat. You're very, like, normal. But when you were skinny, you looked like you were dying.
Look, I was dying.
Kind of.
Wow. I'm going to leave this here so you can go over and watch the rest on this person's video. Let me just get the person's name in here and the video. So this is who posted it. I'm not going to try and destroy their name, because the first part I will guarantee destroy it. So I'm going to leave that there so I don't take away all their views, because this does need to be viewed. People don't need to see this stuff. And I need to stop being so blinking stubborn and stop wearing my brace, at least for my shoulder anyway. But this is an issue. This is a serious issue. And it shouldn't be like this. Men who get into a relationship with Trisha shouldn't be afraid. And it does happen to men equally as much as it does happen to women. And that fact does need to be spoken about more. Excuse me. Like, I would be absolutely devastated if my partner was that afraid of me. Like, I have my own issues, and I deal with them the best I can. I would never hurt somebody else because of my issues. Maybe I've said something that was out of line, but physically, and like, I feel guilty if I say something that's out of line. I have to apologise. I wouldn't be going online and bragging about it and laughing about it and joking about it. And the fact that she's laughed about driving a car into someone's house, chasing someone around a hotel with a knife. These things are bad. Like, really seriously bad. I just don't know. Trisha has self-diagnosed herself so many times. And thankfully there are people out there who have all this stuff documented. Or they at least know where to find her. There is no way I could defend Trisha after seeing all of this stuff. And if it weren't for the attacks that she was having on Ethan and his family, would we have known about all of this? Because I certainly wouldn't have. I would have known about this stuff with Jason Nash. I wasn't even watching YouTube back then. And the stuff with Moses. She's thrown his keys out of the window so that he couldn't leave. There's rumours that she done something to his cats. There's even an image on this video about his cats where she's talking about them to them, which in itself again is disturbing. But tomorrow I will be back to the other video. I am going to read her books. I don't know whether I will record them or just take notes and talk about the notes yet. But either way, I probably will talk about them in a day or two. It's 80 pages, how long can it take? But anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please share, like, subscribe, ring that bell for more videos like this. And I shall see you in the next video. Have a great night. Bye everyone.